faces. I can also see there's quite a few new faces, so welcome. We've been doing this for some time now, and each week we go through a different type of meditation. Generally, we're focused around mindfulness and developing mindfulness. Today, we're going to do something slightly different. We're going to focus on what we call a specific gratitude practice. And the reason why I've chosen that practice today is I think during difficult times, or times when our lives are disrupted like they are now, it's really difficult to find the space to feel gratitude. And as many of us are riding the ups and downs, some days we have days which it's easy to feel grateful for what we do have, but when we go through the more difficult times, it is difficult to find that space to find gratitude. But I'm sure that many of us have experienced people during lockdown who have spoken about what they're learning from this, or what they're grateful for, or reevaluating what they value, what they appreciate in their life that perhaps they didn't know before. And the truth is that often during difficult times, we can dig deep and find what is it that we can be grateful for. So the practice today is trying to foster that awareness. And I guess the really nice part about fostering a sense of gratitude is it does lift our spirits. And I think we all can do with a little bit of a lift in our spirits at the moment. So why don't we sit back and try and do a little bit of gratitude practice, and we'll see how we go. So again, just to make sure that you've got no disruptions around you. So if you can turn any disruptions off and just begin to take some time to settle into your chair. This specific meditation you can do lying down if you're more comfortable. Often most of our mindful meditations we do seated upright, but if you are more comfortable lying down, that's fine. So let's all start to settle into our chairs and begin to take some purposeful breaths. Let your breath help you soften and settle. You might let out some big sighs to help you just feel a little more relaxed. Perhaps you can take the next few breaths to purposefully let go of any tension that you're feeling around your neck, shoulders, and just soften everything down as you settle into the rhythm of following your breath. If you can gently close down your eyes or maintain a soft gaze in front of you. And mentally scanning all the muscles around your face, softening your jaw, your forehead, your eyelids, your mouth, and even your tongue. Knowing that during any meditation, including this one, you'll be interrupted by your busy mind, thoughts, worries, fears, perhaps a sense of irritation or discomfort, planning things, memories or judgment will steer you away from this practice. A simple reminder that when you notice what has drawn your attention away, just see if you can note what it is, and then allow it to soften into the background. Just settling your mind and body And beginning to follow the ebb and flow of each breath. Feeling the subtle rise of the belly as you breathe in and the softening of the belly as you breathe out. Feeling the air pass through your nostrils on your in-breath and feeling the air leave on your out-breath. And so now we begin to focus on some of the things that we feel grateful for. Events, experiences, people, pets, our possessions. We'll start by reflecting on the things that we have today that make our lives so much easier for us, make our lives more comfortable, and way more comfortable than perhaps they were for our grandparents or our great-grandparents. So, for example, we all have lights. With a simple flip of a switch, light appears. We turn our taps on and we have access to clean, drinkable water. We adjust a thermostat and our room can become warm or cool. We have a roof to keep us dry when it rains, walls to keep out cold, windows to let in light, screens to keep out the insects. We enter a vehicle and it takes us to where we want to go. We have access to washing machines and dryers, dishwashers. We have public libraries that have thousands of books and recordings free for anyone to borrow. We have access to public schools. And now just take a moment to reflect on all the thousands of people who have worked hard, some without knowing you at all, to make life easier and more pleasant for you. Think about those who plant, grow and harvest and transport the food that you eat. Those who build and maintain our roads, railways and transport to get food and goods to you. Our postal services and delivery services. The people who design, manage, install and maintain the technology so that we can communicate with people from all over the world. We can get emails and access to the internet. All those who play sport, create art or music, write plays and books and poems and films to entertain you, to uplift you. The medical teams and experts who risk their lives and who save lives. And most of these people you've never met or barely even know. And now consider the people and pets you do know, those who enrich your lives, those who smile and cheer you up, those who have supported you, provided for you, love you. Call to mind those family, friends, acquaintances, colleagues and peers. And now take a moment to reflect on experiences and moments that you have had that you are so grateful for and so appreciative of. And thinking about now the material possessions that you have, the things that make you feel good, the things that bring comfort and joy. And anything else for your own reasons that you feel grateful for, even in this moment. As we navigate our way through this life, you can regularly draw on things that you're grateful for to lift your spirits. It doesn't have to be a formal meditation. It can be as simple as naming 3 things that you're grateful for, or writing 3 things down each day that you're grateful for. Just noticing now how your breath and body and mind feels. And as we come towards the close of this grateful, mindful meditation, just simply bring some small movements back into your body. Perhaps moving your arms and legs. Take a stretch if you feel like you want to. And take your time to gently bring yourself back. I hope that was useful for some of us to lift our spirits a little bit. It's really relevant during these times that we try and find ways to keep ourselves buoyant, especially after such a long period of time. And one other important way that we can do that is through finding ways that we can be more compassionate to ourselves and others. And that's what Amelia is going to talk to you a little bit more now about. So I welcome you all to Amelia. Thank you. Hand you over.
Thanks, Annette. I really loved that practice. I felt like there was a lot to be grateful for, and something that I was really grateful for today was my Pilates teacher, who is being really amazing at the moment, offering Pilates by Zoom, and it's been really good to be able to kind of do that during this lockdown period, as I've been missing getting to my Pilates classes. So I'm grateful to Jose. All right, so we're going to continue on the theme of well-being this week. And those of you who were with us last week, we talked a little bit about a well-being model, which we will revisit. But we're also going to focus on self-compassion, which is really, really important at the moment. Important to, I guess, be generous with yourself and think about the expectations that we're putting on ourselves, particularly during this really challenging time. So last week we talked about well-being, and we defined well-being as being about how you feel, how you function, and also about how you evaluate your own life. And everyone will be somewhere along this well-being continuum at any one time, with poor well-being being mental illness or feeling bad and functioning poorly, and great well-being is feeling good and functioning well. And for those of you who were on the call last week, we rated ourselves on a 1 to 10 scale, just in terms of where we're at with our well-being today. So I thought we might do that exercise again. So just thinking about yourself and how you're feeling today on a 1 to 10 scale, with 1 being feeling bad and functioning poorly and 10 being feeling good and functioning well. Where might you rate your well-being today? And just noticing any thoughts that are coming up in relation to those scores that you're giving yourselves, remembering that this is a conversation about self-compassion. Just getting curious, noticing what was coming up as you gave yourself a score of your own well-being. So we'll just recap this lifestyle model that we had a look at last week. So this is a model that underpins well-being, and it focuses on 6 main areas. So healthy eating, physical activity, managing stress, forming and maintaining relationships, improving sleep, and avoiding risky substances. And we asked ourselves last week, what are some of the areas that we're doing well in? What areas might we like to improve? And are there any areas that we're struggling with? So just reflecting on this model and reflecting on those questions, notice what comes up as you ask yourself these questions about these areas of your life. Just noticing what judgments might be there. What's that little voice in the back of your head saying? Maybe it's saying, you haven't been eating very well this week, have you? Or maybe it's saying, well, you haven't been doing a lot of physical activity, and you said you were going to go for a walk every day. You've only done that 5 times this week. Or you know what, maybe your little voice is rejoicing that you've been reaching out and maintaining your relationships really well this week. So just notice what's there. And we wanted to talk about self-compassion in relation to well-being, because it can be really easy to fall into a trap of self-criticism about your own well-being behaviours. And this is particularly relevant at the moment. As Dori and Annette have highlighted, we're all dealing with a lot, and we have been for a long time. And it's really important to bring this gratitude and self-compassion to your well-being. And self-compassion is a practice of goodwill, and it's acknowledging that things can be hard, and it's about directing kindness and care to ourselves. So with self-compassion, what we're really doing is directing to ourselves the same kind of care that we might give to a really good friend. And we might even practice saying things like, what might I say to my best friend in this situation? And this can be really helpful when you pick up on some of those thoughts that might be whispering in your ear about maybe not upholding the commitments that you've made to yourself this week. Just ask yourself, what would I say to my friend who's maybe missed their walk this week, or hasn't been eating as well as they wanted to? Bringing it back to well-being, thinking about someone in your life who you know has really great well-being, and that might be tricky to bring someone to mind at the moment, but think about anyone that you know who you think does well-being really well. And think about what you notice about that person. Just get a picture in their mind of what you see and what you think about them. And something that you probably notice is this person probably has some pretty consistent well-being behaviours. So if we think back to that model that we looked at earlier, they're probably working on a day-to-day basis to kind of address each of those areas in a different way. And I wanted to highlight here, just in the context of self-compassion and well-being, that well-being's a practice. it's not something that you can just get, or suddenly you have it. You don't have it one day and you do have it the next. It's something that you recommit to for your whole life, really. And bringing that self-compassion to your wellbeing practice is really critical, because it's one of the things that gives you some freedom about starting again. And if you fall off the wagon, you can start again today, or you can start again tomorrow morning. So we might open things up now, and I'll just stop this screen share. Just want to hear from any of you who are on the call, anything that's come up for you in terms of your well-being over the past week, any reflections that you've had as we've